What are you guys paying currently, paint-wise, for your 1, 2, and 3s?
Our ones are going about.
I'm not feeling this shirt at all. We've got clouds and little orange birds on it. I thought that this was going to be my sales shirt. I'll probably change as this video continues. Hey, good morning. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday, here on Joe Does Stuff. And today we're getting ready to go try to sell some work. I'm taking you with me. We're going undercover, so to speak. We're going to go try to sell some work to an apartment complex that has reached out to us looking for painting, repairs, tub glazing, countertops. They're looking for everything, actually. For the upcoming year, they reached out to me recently saying that they are not happy with their current contractor. I've heard that 1,000 times throughout the course of working with apartments, and you can never take that at face value, even though at first you probably will. Oh, you're not happy with your current contractor? Well, we can certainly do better. You know, had always been my pitch to these apartments, and also trying to tell them, but you know, we're probably a little bit more than what you're used to paying. And that's crazy to think, especially when you think about, you know, what prices in the apartment world are like. Today, we are going to deep dive this. I'll be completely transparent with you. I could care less whether or not we pick up this apartment complex. And the reason I say that is because I feel like we won't pick this apartment complex up because of the fact that I am going to go in there with a little bit higher price than what I would normally charge. But hear me out on that. What I would normally charge is $350 for a 1-bedroom, $400 for a 2-bedroom, $450 for a 3-bedroom. That's for a full paint. Any repair work in the unit is going to be an extra cost. This property provides the paint. I've already been in a little bit of email correspondence with them to find out that they have color changes from time to time. They've told me their color scheme. I'm getting ready to go meet with them today. We're going to look at some units, and I'm going to film my conversation with the property manager when I tell them what my prices are going to be. And their reaction is going to, what if they go for it? What if I had this wrong the entire time? But I know that I haven't. I know what these prices in the apartment world are like. When this apartment complex reached out to me, they told me that they were a tax credit community. I had no idea what that meant. I would have to ask my wife. She's very knowledgeable in the industry. She told me that's Section 8, which, you know, no discredit to them at all. In fact, you know, some of the properties that we've had in the past have been Section 8, and they've been great properties to us. Why? Because them people trash them units. Yeah, they do. And anytime that they would call us, it would be for the worst of the worst, and the upcharges were immense. I think the average price that we were charging was around $1,000 a unit for maybe a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. It didn't matter. But that was painting and repair work throughout the unit. Maybe a ton of priming, kilsing, whatever was necessary in the unit. So real quick, this is what I want to share with you guys. We've got the prospect of a new property. Again, I'm really just doing this for the video content. My business is all but over with at this point, and that is a sad reality. Any possibilities of work that we have are just fleeting at this point at best, and certainly not enough to keep us in business. I'm going to put a proposal together for apartment painting work the day after I shut my business down. That could be a title for this video, because yesterday, essentially, I did. You know, I had to let go of my top guy. And as shitty as that was, because of how good he had been to me, you know, the reality is he could do better somewhere else. Somebody can provide him much more steady work, and the only work that I've been providing him for the last 10 days is work around my house that I can't even afford. But again, we're going to go entertain this. Hey, why not? We ain't got shit else to do. Now, I've already shared with you where my prices we're normally at with this. Keep in mind that my prices are higher than the next guy, than a lot of people in the apartment game. You know, they're probably willing to, I mean, shit, we've shared it here on Joe Does Stuff. I've shared with you the biggest apartment painter and his prices. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to link it down below. You need to see that video. The prices in the apartment world are crazy. So let's keep this in mind. I'm getting ready to show you real quick this apartment complex. We're going to look at some of their units, look at some pictures. And as we do so, I'll share just a couple of quick things that you're probably going to find some interest in. All right, so here we are. We're looking at a couple of pictures of these apartments. I always like to try to look at them online before going there. I want to know what the square footage is, the floor plans, the color schemes. They told me that they were agreeable gray over there, and clearly in these pictures, they're not. They look like a shell white with white baseboard. I asked if they were doing color changes. They said every so often. So obviously they've already gone through their color change phase. Can't even imagine what they were paying to get those color changes done, but you know, whatever. The square footage of these apartments, and they have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. The 1 bedroom is 680 square feet. That is massive for a 1 bedroom apartment. Keep in mind, I was flipping houses, and the first 2 houses that I flipped were both 2 bedroom, 1 bath houses, and those were 700 square feet. To have a damn near 700 square foot 1 bedroom apartment, that's a pretty large, those are pretty large floor plans. Let's talk easy ways to bid painting work. You know, the easiest way to bid a painting job is by the square footage. You know, most painters, respectable painters, residential painters, maybe commercial painters, I don't know, but most painters, you know, their average price per square foot, materials included, is over $2 a square foot. Maybe like $2.50, $3 a square foot. Could be upwards of $5 a square foot, depending how much repair work is needed, how much additional prep work. But anywhere between $2 to $5 a square foot is a pretty safe margin. Anything over $5 a square foot, I think, might be a little bit of overkill, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people who are charging like $8 a square foot. I've never seen it. Those are pretty safe margins for bidding a job. But, you know, if you're doing an interior paint, and let's say you got a 3,500 square foot home, well, you're not going to go by that exact square footage. You might want to be in there actually measuring walls, length times height on every wall to get you a more precise square footage of wall space, because a 3,500 square foot home is going to have a substantial amount more square footage than just the living space square footage. I share those numbers with you because think about this. In the apartment painting game, if we're talking about this particular property, look, here's a living room right here. Here's the outside of the place. Looks like a pretty nice place. Here's a bedroom right here. Bathroom. More of the bathroom. Kitchen. You know, if we're talking about this place right here, where their 1 bedroom is almost 700 square foot. Think if I was even charging just $1 a square foot. If I go in and tell these people that we're willing to do their paints, no matter what it is, for $1 a square foot, that would be $680 for a 1 bedroom apartment. They're gonna laugh me out of their office, and I just might do it. Now, here's the other thing. When I share with you my normal prices are $350 for a 1 bedroom, then that means we are out there painting, or we were out there painting for like 50 cents a square foot. And that is still too high. You literally have apartment painters out here painting for like 10 cents to 25 cents a square foot. No bullshit. And today, when we go to this property, I got to get ready to leave in just a couple of minutes. I've got some more questions to ask them, and I'm going to record everything so that you guys can hear this exactly. I'm going to try to ask them what they're paying right now. Some properties will tell you, others will not. But I am going to try to get that information for you. Could this be the one property that wows us when we try to tell them $1 a square foot and they're like, yeah, okay. They're not going to be. The company that owns this property, I've tried to deal with them in the past and I wasn't able to do so. It was for maybe a B property. These properties are usually graded A, B, C, D. I don't know if there's such a thing as an F property, but the one property that I tried to deal with that was owned by the same company was probably like a B plus property. And the insurance requirements were insane. Not only did I have to deal with a third-party verification company that wants to charge you, the small business owner, $100 a year and no charge at all to the property. And all they do is just verify your insurance and make sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted and your policies are worded exactly the way that the company is asking for your policies to be worded. This company also wanted my policy, one of my policy, maybe it was my workers' comp policy, to be worded absolutely insane. Most properties are going to want your policies to state that if anything happens to you while you're there, it's not their fault, no matter if it is. You could fall through the floor of an apartment and it's not going to be their fault. It's going to be your insurance's responsibility to cover that. That's what most apartment complexes are going to want your policies to say. But in this particular case, this one was so extreme. They wanted it to say not only all of that, but also if they had a maintenance man working in the same apartment that we were working in and somehow he got hurt, that was also our responsibility as well. One of their employees. They don't even want to cover their own damn employees. My insurance wouldn't do it. So we weren't able to go work for this property. But this is a different property entirely, a lesser grade property as well, and probably owned by different ownership. It might be the same company, but the owners could be different. And they might not have those crazy requirements. They probably do. They probably use the same third-party verification. So, with that, they probably do, but maybe there is a chance that they don't. We'll see. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I'm filming everything. You let me know how I do on this sales attempt, this one last ditch effort to try to drum up some work for us. $1 a square foot, they're going to laugh me off the property. Okay, I can't go in there and say $650 or $680 for a one bedroom. They're never going to go for it. But I am going to go in there and try to say something higher than what I normally charge. Normally, a one bedroom is $350. I'm going to try to go in there and say our one bedrooms start at $450. Okay, that is the middle ground between what I was charging and $1 a square foot. It's about the middle ground. $450 for a one bedroom. Let's see what they say. 9:25, I've got to be at this property at 10 o'clock and they're 30 minutes away from me. So hopefully something good comes of this in terms of information, in terms of, who knows, man. What if I tell them $450 for a one bedroom and they jump on that? Okay, yeah, sure. Now, you got to keep this in mind too. People will say anything. They'll accept anything and then you'll be sitting there waiting to get paid. So couple of things to note, other questions that I want to ask. What is your pay? Are you guys net 30? If they tell me something crazy, what if they tell me they're net 90? No, we're net 45. Oh shit, yeah. Okay. I've heard that at properties that are net 90, you can charge more because nobody wants to go paint or do work and have to wait 3 months to get paid. I mean, who comes up with this shit? How are you going to tell a small business owner they got to wait 3 months? We only pay 4 times a year. What? Oh, shit. That's crazy. That's crazy talk right there. But yeah, let's get out here. They have at least one apartment that we can see. So I'll be interested to see the condition of that. And maybe they'll even show it to us and show us what their expectation is. A lot of these apartments want every little nook and cranny caulked, sealed, fixed for $300. But you never know. Like I said, this is going to be one of two things. Either interesting for the information, possibly even shocking as well, or could be how we bounce back. But I have absolutely zero faith in the latter.
Hello.
You are Mr. Guerrero, right?
Yes, Joe Guerrero.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Let's see. I'll take you over to one of our units.
Perfect.
And then, of course, there's a hallway. That's one of the other bids we're looking for, so it's all in one.
Perfect. You guys have multiple painting contractors out here, or do you guys do it in-house?
Right now we're rebidding out.
Okay.
Because our current contractor is not meeting our needs.
And meaning they're just not doing good work?
Like at one point they were doing so excellent work, like we could count on them to, like, even when we didn't have a maintenance person here, they sent someone for free for the day, you know.
Really? Wow.
And they were like really, really good with us, and like if I asked them to do a task, I knew it would get done.
Right.
Like paint a unit and such. However, in the last couple of months, we haven't, like, we're having to send them back to units maybe 3, 4, 5 times.
Really, a lot of touch-ups, it looks, or a lot of callbacks.
A lot of callbacks.
So how many units are y'all?
We're 109.
Okay. I talked with the before. They're owned by the same company as y'all.
They're our sister site.
Same ownership?
No, different owner.
Okay. What's your monthly turnover look like?
Not too bad. When I got here, I've been here since November.
Okay.
There was nobody here in the office for several months, and several tenants took advantage of that. So my first month and a half, took me about 6 months to get everybody out.
Right.
Legal process and all
Yeah.
that. So we ended up with like 70 empties.
Oh, wow.
So as you can tell, our previous contractor had done a lot of work for us. But we're almost 100% occupied, and people now move out because, you know, they're buying homes, or,
Right.
you know, with this unit, the lady got old and had to go live with her family. So nobody's moving out because, you know, they're not paying their rent. They're relatively okay tenants. So this would be a 2-bedroom.
This will be a color change as well, correct?
The color change, but in this, it's kind of unique because above us, the patio door wasn't seated correctly. We fixed it. And then I don't know if this is, but some drywall needs to get done.
Right.
So we would be asking you to do that as well.
Yeah, so we do all phases of repair work, painting. We handle exterior, interior. We work with a lot of different properties in the area. What are you guys paying currently, paint-wise, for your 1, 2, and 3s?
Our ones are going about $350, $400 for our 2 bedrooms, and maybe $500 for our 3 bedrooms.
Okay. So we're a little bit higher than that. And I'm sure, you know, not sure how that's actually going to land with y'all. We're usually around $400 to $450 for the 1 bedrooms.
Okay.
And then all repair work, like I said, we do not only the drywall repair work, we can do the texture matching. It looks like you guys have a swirl pattern in here. In terms of color changes, what are you guys paying for the color changes?
Well, they're all been color changes because we're going from whatever color this was to
the agreement, right? So that's the price that y'all are paying for?
It's a little bit higher, maybe around $400 for the color change.
Right.
4-ish.
And you're just not happy with the current contractor because of the fact that you're getting a lot of callbacks?
Yeah, it's like there was a time where it was like I said, they go in, I knew that it was everything was one and done, but now it's like, they're going back 7 times.
Right, you guys are a little bit of a larger property in terms of square footage, being that your one bedrooms are 680 square feet.
Right.
And then they go up from there. And again, you know, we try to be based upon square footage, but also, you know, at least underneath of $1 a square foot.
Okay.
So we're around, we're a little bit more than 50 cents, we're about 75 cents a square foot, whereas somebody else would be a lot cheaper. Now, of course, for our price, you know, you're not gonna have to deal with the constant callbacks, and we are able to accommodate a lot of things that maybe another guy doesn't do, such as do the drywall work correctly. You know, do the swirl pattern, do any kind of texture matching that needs to be done. If you've got baseboards that need to be replaced, we're able to do that. But your maintenance staff, you know, a lot of things you guys probably are doing in-house, I would imagine, but we are available if and when, you know, need be. If we come across issues, we do doors, we do countertops, you know, we do a lot of different things.
Okay.
But this unit doesn't look like it's in too bad a condition.
No, because she's lived here, like at least, I would say at least 15 years.
They're getting ready to paint it now, looks like.
No, actually, our maintenance guy came in and they prepped it, because our other guys didn't do prep work. So do you include prep work in your price?
Absolutely.
Oh, then that's definitely good.
Yeah, absolutely. So for that price point, like I said, we are a little bit higher, but for that price point, we will take care of outlet plate covers, you know,
Okay.
prepping, removing tape. We clean up behind ourselves. We can even put the paint away, you know, if that's a part of that.
We will supply the paint. Now, if there's holes and nails.
We take care of all of that. That's included.
That's the prep work.
Yep,
Okay.
that's included. So our deal goes like this. If we go into a unit and it's excessive in terms of the repair work, and by excessive, you know, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, if we've got a ton of holes all over the walls, we consider that excessive. If there's a ton of stress cracks and drywall repair, we usually are a la carte with those items based upon the repair and the you know, how much repair work is actually necessary. If we're replacing drywall, obviously there's additional cost with that. In this particular unit, I'm not seeing a lot of holes in the wall.
Right.
I see a little bit of stress. Well, we do have the drywall issue in the front, but if it was just like that stress crack above the sliding door right there, we probably wouldn't even upcharge for that.
Okay.
We're going to come in and remove all of your nastiness off of the wall. If things need to be primed, we're able to prime. Let's say we go into a unit that does need heavy priming. Are you providing the primer, or would you like us to provide it?
I think our paint is primer in the paint.
Well, there's certain cases where that's not, you're going to definitely need
We
to.
would provide it.
Okay.
We would be able to. We would just need like, see, either you could pick it up from Sherwin-Williams for us, or you could wait the day to just give us a heads up. Hey, we're going to need this, and I'll order it and get it to you.
Now, again, I asked you about the other property, and the reason for that is because they use RealPage. Do you guys use RealPage as well?
That's how I even got your name. Is
Perfect, okay.
If you weren't up and approved, I didn't call.
Yeah.
Or didn't email.
Well, I can send you over a formal proposal. You can
Okay.
send that up the chain. Like I said, I know our prices are gonna be a little bit higher, but you get what you pay for in this. You know, there's plenty of people who will come in this and do it for, I'm actually surprised to hear the prices that you told me. I thought they were gonna be a little bit cheaper than that, because there's properties that we have dealt with where the prices are cheaper than, you know, $350 for a one bedroom. But again, you get what you pay for, so it's what you want. You know, if you know, pay a little bit more like you will with us, you're gonna get the higher quality and the less headaches.
Okay. Yeah.
And in terms of color changes, we are definitely, you know, we're definitely more in regards to that, but that would be a case-by-case basis. You're not the biggest property that we've done with the color changes, because we have done some massive Class A properties that are doing the full agreeable gray color changes.
Yeah.
Those are very pricey. We would probably be maybe $100 to $150 more per unit per color change. But just the repaints, you know, you're looking about $450.
All right. Yeah, it's, we're getting to the end of, like, we had to move out recently, and we just went in, it was like a quick coat because it was already the color, so we're getting
Right.
away from the color changes. So I mean, to me, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, really, you know, I try to be fair. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. We've worked with a lot of properties, a lot of companies in the area. So, you know, we're familiar with where the price point is with this. But yeah.
That's how my maintenance man. It looks like they need. Great.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think the 16, 18, 2, and 1, the contract was there.
Okay, yeah, it's on my desk.
Yes, ma'am.
If they could just kind of clean up a little bit 16-18-2.
Yes.
And then focus on 16-18-1 because they finally 16-18-1 looks okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who are you guys currently using for paint?
Everforce?
I've never heard of that. They're a temp service?
No,
Oh.
they're they're a contractor. They do painting, they do tubs, they do counters. Pretty much anything that you need, they do it. But like I said, it's been the last couple months. I don't know what it is. They just.
Could be that they don't have the people. Holding on to people is a hard thing in this industry. And then the hallways too. You said you wanted to get a quote for those.
Yeah. So those we haven't decided what color scheme we want. We kind of know, and we started focusing on that with my previous supervisor, but we were trying to get to brighten it up and. It's definitely going to be a color change.
Okay. Ceilings and everything. So.
Yeah.
It'd probably be about 400 a hallway.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's a rough number, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be about that.
Okay.
And you've got how many hallways?
28, I think. 28 buildings, but I think 28. We're still looking. We're still getting quotes. I want to make a final decision about who I use because I want to get that unit started with the new company. Really see who, you know.
Have you met with a lot of contractors?
I've met with, I've got a quote from one person who used to, ironically, the guy that, the contractor we're using now used to work for him, and his company used to take care of this place. So I got a quote from him, and then you, and then I have another one coming, 2 more coming rather later in the week.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'll get that information over to you. Hopefully we can be of service to you.
I hope so. I would appreciate it.
How many other properties y'all have in the area?
Just me and just us. And
Okay. Well, not bad at all. Very, very nice place.
yeah. Got good tenants. I want to give them a quality product, you know.
Yeah, as you should.
I know some people don't feel like this, but my tenants deserve the best, whether they're the richest of the rich or the poorest of the poor.
Well, it's a good way to look at things because not everybody looks at it that way.
I know. I do know. Well, Mr. Guerrero, I thank you for coming by.
Ma'am, absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
I'll get that information sent over to you via email.
Perfect, perfect. I look forward to it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Well, let me go ahead and start this off by saying I told you so. I told you what them prices are looking like. Couple of things real quick. Even if they would be willing to go with the price that I would suggest, which is, you know, I said $400 to $450, it's definitely going to be $450 starting off for repaints. And they're not going to go for that. I need them to not go for it. They're not. They're paying $350 right now. The lady said that she's got a couple of more quotes that she's going to be getting. I personally don't even want it. Don't want it. Oh, I forgot to ask what their pay schedule was. Damn. But I don't want it because, one, there's only 2 properties in the area, them and the other property that I was telling y'all about where their insurance requirements were absolutely ridiculous. And then 2, they ain't got but 100 and something units there. You know, their turnover is nothing. I'll have 1 unit to paint a month, but I guess if I go out there and do it, you know, maybe it would be worth it. Go do it my damn self. Give me something to do to break it up a little bit. But we'll still entertain it, I guess. She told me that she reached out to me because she saw that I was an approved vendor. I am certainly not an approved vendor. I'm probably a vendor in their list, but I don't like the fact that she told me they use the same third-party verification company, which is called RealPage. I have no interest in going down that rabbit hole again. And then for the color changes, I told her an additional $100 to $150 per unit. I could stand on that number. Those units aren't that big at all. They would be easy to bust out. And then for the hallways, I told her $400 a hallway. Ain't shit to them hallways. You know, we could definitely get those done. We could get a hallway done in a day. If one person could get a hallway done, and they absolutely could. Yeah, one person doing a hallway, no problem with that whatsoever. So we could do multiple hallways a day. We could do 2 or 3 hallways a day. That would be actually a pretty lucrative little hit right there. But again, I did not ask what their pay schedule was. And I also want to say this. Hey, she was a very nice lady. She was very sensible to very in tune with her residents. A lot of property managers don't give a damn, you know, by her saying she wanted to provide a quality product. Good on her for that. You don't see that. You don't see that very often at all. So, pretty interesting. I ain't gonna say I knew. I'm actually surprised that their prices were what they were. Their prices were exactly what our prices were, actually a little bit higher. She said $350 for a 1-bedroom. I think she said $400 for a 2-bedroom and $500 for a 3-bedroom. I think that's what she said. I said our 1-bedroom was going to start at $400 to $450. So, you know, we're going on up from there. Wanted to share this with you guys. Hey, I hope this was a video y'all enjoyed. I wish I could have showed you more of the apartment because I was filming, but mostly just trying to film the conversation that I had with this nice lady. And unit wasn't in too terrible of condition, but, you know, not the greatest neither. But still, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Y'all let me know what you think. I'm going to look forward to sharing more with you guys real soon. And until then, take care.